Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a guide to the new MiloStar specialty header for Farming Simulator 25. We're going to talk about the difference between that header and a regular grain header and why you may want to use that header over a different one. So let's get started. So we have sorghum here, which it does have weeds. You can ignore that. We're not here to test the yield or anything like that. We're here to test how fast we can harvest, because that's the difference between the MiloStar by gearing off and a regular header here. So if we go into the store, if we go under, harvesters here, obviously we've seen any regular old harvester. I have the CR11 and the AF11, which are identical, just one's New Holland and one's Case, pretty much. So they will harvest sorghum. That's what we're harvesting. Now we need to go over to headers here. So there are specialty headers, corn headers, and grain headers. Corn headers, they're not going to do it for us. Sunflowers and corn. Sorghum can be harvested by a grain header, however, and I have this one out there right now. You can see. So 15.2 meters, 6 miles an hour, harvest sorghum. That's great. So why would you use this specialty header that's only 12.3 meters? It only does sorghum. So that is kind of the downside, is it's only going to do sorghum. You're not going to do anything else, but it does harvest at 8 miles per hour instead of 6 miles an hour. So what it's going to do is speed your harvest up. So yes, I know that with a wider header like this and only 2 miles an hour faster, which is only 50% faster, or not even 50%, only 33% faster. It may not be worth it in terms of using these massive harvesters, but if you're using a smaller harvester, it's like you say that you have this guy here on your farm, you might be able to use that. I wonder if it even recommends it. Nope, doesn't yet. Wonder what the smallest it would recommend there. Yeah. So I think you can use it with any one, honestly. This would probably be fine too, but if you bump it up here a little bit, if you're using just a slightly smaller harvester, here's the first one that's actually going to recommend that specialty harvester with. So if you don't have a massive harvester, using a smaller one that's like half the cost there. And honestly, I think you could get away with it on these guys as well. This one might be pushing it. These two should be able to run it just fine. We can even test that to do that if we want to in this video. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. We'll buy that and we'll test that out in a second. But the main difference, if you harvest here, get this guy rocking and rolling. I'm harvesting sorghum, right? No big deal. But I'm only going 6 miles an hour. So that's great and all. Fantastic. That is what it is. But what if I want to harvest faster? Which I'm actually going to save my game as well here real quick. What if I want to harvest faster than that? If I go over to, well, I have this guy right here. Fire it up. The main benefit to the MiloStar header, if I lower it down, turn it on, I'm harvesting at 8 miles an hour. So I'm able to cook past the other harvester if the other harvester is harvesting right now and harvest a lot faster, which is fantastic. Now the question that we wanted to answer, well, this is a massive harvester obviously, so these two would actually probably get the field done about the same time because that one's wider. So is it actually worth it to get this or not? Well, I think we're going to have to test it with another harvester such as this one. I think this is probably the smallest one you'd want to run it on. Again, like I said, this one would probably be pushing it. This one has 306 horsepower, and if we look at the specialty header right here, it doesn't have a horsepower requirement, but it can be difficult for smaller harvesters to run big headers like this. And as you can see, that's quite large for this combine. It will hook up to it, but let's see if we can actually harvest at 8 miles an hour. Now, you may have some struggles with hills, but let's see. It's running it, and we're harvesting at 8 miles an hour. Honestly, it doesn't feel like it's really struggling that much. So that would be a big benefit here, because you really can't run that big of a grain header on this guy right here. So if you have a smaller harvester, this would be perfect for it. But you can see the animations look great on there as well. But yeah, that's the main reason to use the Geringhoff MiloStar header, is because you're going to harvest your sorghum about 33% faster. So that's the kind of the main benefit there of why you'd want to use it. So if you're wondering why that exists, why is it a specialty header for sorghum, it doesn't make sense because you can do sorghum and other crops with the other grain header. Well, that's why. Now, again, it may not be worth it if you're going to do just a mixture of grain crops. It might be worth it to go with a grain header because you can do everything, and it's not going to improve your yield or anything like that. It's just going to do the same thing. So, I have tested that. It's not going to improve your yield. I got the same yield off of this field as you would doing it with that in this. So you're not going to improve your yield with it. You can see here we have 539 liters there. If I go over to our other harvester here, 539 would be about right there. Yes, that's a wider swath. Those are probably about the same areas. Obviously this is a little bit less wide, but yeah, you're not gonna get a yield improvement from it. If that was a lot higher, I'd say, yeah, sure, there could be a yield improvement. You're not gonna get a yield improvement. It's just to speed up your harvesting. So, as you can see there, this one's only got more in the tank because we're harvesting about, 3 meters or so wider. But again, that's the main thing. It's gonna speed up your harvest. So there you go. That's how you use the MiloStar header. That's what it does for you and everything like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel, and turn your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.